This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Well, I think we're back for another edition of On Deck here on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I'm Crispy Bacon. It's been about a couple weeks since opening week or opening day of the baseball season. I am here with James. How you doing this evening, James?
I'm good. Lots of work going on, and happy to be home. And it's been a while, but it's good that we're back. There's so much that happened, in the baseball world as of late, and I'll get to some of it. But yeah, it's good to be back here.
It is good to be back. It's good to see baseball back in full swing. And we'll definitely talk about swinging in a little bit because there's been some controversies about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you're going to get to that too in a little bit. But let's talk about our team reports. James, how are the Angels doing?
Surprisingly, they're 9-5. They just ended up beating Houston tonight, 4-1, after losing 14-3 on Friday. Just to start the season, I guess it didn't start off so well. In cold Chicago playing the White Sox, they lost 8-1. They had a position player pitch in the 8th inning, and you know what that means, that you're just blown out of a game. So they had Nicky Lopez go out there and throw pitches. It's a bad omen. It's like a bad sign, I thought. And then the Angels went on to win the last two in that series. Remember, the White Sox were the ones that lost the most games ever last year, 121 in modern times. Okay, then they went on to St. Louis and they took 2 out of 3, and then finally some home games. They lost the game that I went to, the home opener, but they took the last 2 against Cleveland.
Oh, so you're bad, what you're saying?
That I'm 0-for-1. We'll find out next Saturday against the Giants how I am too. Then they're on the road. Now they're on the road again. They played in Tampa. I always see that every time I go somewhere. They take 2 out of 3, and they played in this minor league ballpark that the Yankees let them have in Tampa. Mm-hmm. It's called Steinbrenner Field or Legends Park Field, whatever they want to call it. But man, the Angels hit, I think, 10 home runs, I want to say, or 11 home runs in that series. I mean, they were on fire, but the ballpark is just so small compared to other ballparks. And the wind blows it out. It's just like Sacramento with the A's there. They're both playing at minor league ballparks. So they took 2 out of 3 from Tampa. So that's really good. When you win every series, you're pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot. So they've been able to do that. It's just been weird to see that. Now they're in Houston. And then during the week, they'll go to Arlington to play the Rangers at the biggest barbecue grill when the roof is closed.
Come on out,
Uh,
barbecue.
not in the summer though. That'd be so damn hot. I bet.
That's why we got Nakamura.
Yeah, thank God. Like nobody thought about it back in the day. I think because they thought Texas, the Astrodome, they already had a roof. The Rangers wanted to do something different, but it's just not happening until now. By the way, I think that's the latest ballpark to be open in 2020. There was a question somebody had where it's like, what's the what ballpark had opened up recently or the most recent? And people kept getting it wrong. I'm like, dude, it's Texas, it's Arlington. It's Arlington. So that Texas, or by the way, that Rays series against Tampa or in Tampa, the MLB made it so that Tampa would play a lot of home games at first before the awful summer weather comes around. Thunderstorms, rain, whatever the case is, they're trying to avoid that and give a lot of Rays home games. So look out for the schedule later on. The Rays will have to go on the road a lot. It's just the reasoning of being, displaced like that. You might have a lot of rainouts there in Tampa later on in the season. I just wonder what the over-under will be. And
10.
That would be a lot, too. There was one, actually, the game had to stop Friday night, the Yankees and Giants. The Giants already won, though. Or they were leading, I think, 9-1, I want to say, and then they just couldn't play anymore. So we already had one rain out.
What was it? Boston and New York one?
Boston versus New York?
Yeah, the Yankees.
No, they haven't played yet.
Boston game.
It was a Boston. I think they. Oh yeah. They're gonna. I think they did a doubleheader already.
They
for
did,
that
yeah.
One. Yeah, but this one they actually just said no more. Like we can't play any more at Yankee Stadium. So they tried it too, but no. There was actually. I'm sorry. There was a rain delay. I forgot. There was a 3-hour one, and I can't. I think it was. Oh God, where was it? I forgot where it was now, but there was a 3-hour rain delay somewhere. The Angels had to deal with on the road. Maybe it was in No. God, I should know. I don't know. It was in. I'm sorry. The first Sunday of the season, it was in Chicago. And yeah, never mind. Yeah. That was the first rain that the Angels experienced, I should say. But yeah, after the series with you guys, there's a homestand of San Francisco and Pittsburgh, and it'd be odd to play the National League this early. We, just playing the Cardinals, but the Angels, they've been hitting well. They did lose their fireball reliever Ben Joyce for 15 days with an injury. I think it was shoulder. Yeah, it was shoulder. It wasn't elbow, luckily. But today they had a no-hitter going until the 5th inning, and then there was a hit given up. But the Angels won 4-1. That was a lot of fun to see. There was actually a play where Mike Trout, who moved over to right field now, he went to the wall, the foul wall, reached over, and a fan took the ball. It looked like out of the glove, and it reminded me what happened in a World Series with Mookie Betts, where those two Yankee fans were trying to get the ball out of the glove of Mookie in last October. But since the ball was taken away, they didn't do anything about it. They moved the fan to another seat. I think they took the ball away though, and then they couldn't challenge it because the ball was already over the wall. So once it's over the wall, that's anybody's ball. It's just one of those things that happen. But that happened tonight. But luckily, that didn't spark up anything for the Astros. And the thing is, too, I'm wondering about the Astros because they don't have certain names out there like they used to. Kyle Tucker went to Chicago, and then Alex Bregman is with Boston. And then I just thought about the irony of that. Houston used to have those two guys in their lineup. They both were named Players of the Week the first week to start off the season. So it's just funny to think that for Houston fans, to think that both of those guys, won those awards, and they were both in the lineup all these years for Houston. But yeah, Kyron Paris, he's definitely retooled his swing. He's kind of stolen what Aaron Judge has used all these years, waiting on a ball, the way he uses his back foot, and he's been so improved. He hit, I think, 190 in the minors last year, and from spring training on, he's fought his way on the team and in the lineup, and he has, I think, 4 home runs. There's a lot of Angels that have multi-home runs, and in games too. On, I think, Wednesday, they had 5 home runs. I think in the 5th inning, I want to say. They had one player, Dell, start off the inning, hitting a home run and leading it off. And then the last run of the inning was a home run. So that was against that was in Tampa against the Rays, and that was just amazing to see as they again won. What did they win by? It was crazy. It was 11-1. But yeah, it's weird seeing Tampa Bay play outside. It's weird like that. But that's what it is right now for those franchises that don't have a home. But yeah, with the Angels, they're hitting well. Tomorrow, they'll have the rubber game in Houston. Then they have Monday off. Let's see. I picked the wrong game. Here we go. They will throw out Kyle Hendricks, who doesn't have a win or a loss, and Winitsky, who they got, I think, from the Cubs, and now Kyle Tucker trade is 0-1 this season. So hopefully the Angels can keep the bats going. And what's odd, they closed the roof at newly named Daikin Park. It used to be Minute Maid Park in Houston, but it was 80 degrees outside at like 6 p.m., and they had the roof closed. So I was really shocked by that in Houston. I didn't know they did that. I thought, 85, and under, they leave the roof open. But that was the weirdest thing. The Angels still hit, I think, 3 home runs tonight anyway, despite all that. So, yeah, they've been starting off well. Now, I know, Chris, for Texas, they've had a couple of injuries come up to a couple of players that I know, and I haven't really been following them because it's so early in the standings. But how has the Rangers done?
Started out really well. I think we had Boston the first series, won that one, and then I believe we had the Rays the second. No, maybe it was the Guardians. I know we had the Guardians and the Rays. I believe we won both those series, and then we had Chicago, the Cubs recently. Maybe it was a 2-game series, and I think they split 1-1. And now you're facing. Who are you facing? I can't remember.
Seattle.
Seattle. So
right now they're down 9-1 in Seattle.
Yeah, we're out. So we lost that game. We've just been on a losing streak. Have the same record as the Angels right now, tied for first place. Like you said, a lot of injuries happening. Evaldi's been playing well. DeGrom's playing well for his standards. But also you have the injury bug and a bunch of other things going on. I think Langford was placed on the IL, and then somebody else was in AAA. playing not worth it. So
Yeah, the schedule here I'm seeing, you had a 4-game series with Boston to start the year at home, and Texas won 3 out of 4. They did lose opening day. There was a home run by the rookie shortstop Crawford. No, not Crawford. Excuse me. Christian Campbell. He hit one dead center. It was just amazing to see because he's my rookie of the year pick. But yeah, Texas regrouped after that, and then they took 2 out of 3 from in Cincinnati, and I got to see a couple of those games. There was that Monday night loss, 14-3, where shortstop of Cincinnati, I forget his name, De La Cruz, he used one of those torpedo bats, and that really helped him out, hitting 2 home runs in that game. And then the next night, you had Evaldi throw a complete game shutout, and you never see those. That was awesome that Tuesday. And then you guys won 1-0 as well the next day. Had an off day.
That was the first time ever that we went back-to-back 1-0 games and won them.
I can see that. You had a day off, and then to start April even more, 4 through the 6th, you swept Tampa Bay at home. I didn't even see any of those games. You lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubs, and then you had this Thursday off. Lost 5-3 yesterday against Seattle, and losing 9-1 in this game tonight, which I've been keeping tabs. I'm sorry, it's 7-1, bottom of the 7th. I don't know if that's right. I gotta check that for sure, but that game is still going along with one more. No, it's 9. Okay, yeah, it's 9-1, top of the 8th. Seattle leading the
We're out of it.
Rangers. Okay. It was just weird. One score. They had 2 different scores on this. It was weird. Did you want me to go through the scores of today?
Yeah, go ahead.
Saturday, April 12th. Again, the Angels won 4-1 in Houston. There's a game going on right now, Chris, that is 16-0 Cubs in LA at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers threw out Miguel Rojas, who's an infielder, and he had some funny pitches or routines. He copied a bunch of the different pitchers on the Dodgers because they were down by so much. He gave up a lot of runs. So the final score is 16-0 Cubs in this game tonight. Again, 9-1 Seattle, top of the 8th against Texas.
Yeah, we did it. I'm just kidding.
It just came up right now. The Dodgers did have 6 hits and an error, but they get shut out 16-0. That was crazy to see. The Tigers continue to win. They shut out the Twins in Minnesota 4-0. The Phillies beat the Cardinals 4-1 in St. Louis. And then Yankees get their revenge back on the Giants. Yankees win 8-4. That was earlier today. Also earlier today, the Athletics won in Sacramento over the Mets 3-1. The Mets took the first one of that series. The Orioles held on to beat the Blue Jays 5-4. That was an interesting game. The Orioles in that game, by the way, had an orange uniform, all orange, and it just looked so odd. Me, it did. Baltimore.
Were they the Cleveland Browns for a minute?
They looked like it. Yeah, they really looked like it today. The Braves won in Tampa 5-4 over the Rays. A lot of 4s here. The White Sox have won 2 of the first 3 against Boston, 3-2.
It is master season, so you gotta go 4.
I didn't even think about that. I should watch it, but I don't. The Marlins are at 500. They win 7-6 over the Nationals in Miami. The Guardians defeat the Royals 6-3 in Cleveland. The Reds win 5-2 over the Pirates in Cincinnati. Let's see. The Brewers lost to the Diamondbacks. Arizona won 5-4. They had their roof closed already in Arizona as well. So
No fireworks.
I guess not. That'd be weird having a roof closed, but there's fireworks. The Padres shut out the Rockies 2-0 in San Diego. The Padres have the best record at 12-3 this year. Colorado has the worst record at 3-12, and the Padres won 8-0 yesterday as well. So they're up 10-0 in the series. And that's all the scores for Saturday. A lot of fours and then some blowouts, but a lot of runs being scored. Even though I did read this was like the lowest so far, or maybe after 1 week, it was the lowest batting average against pitchers for hitters to start off a season, which is just crazy to think of with these torpedo bats. Well, it's bad for the hitters, but good for the pitchers. Standings are crazy. The what?
So it depends on how you're looking at it.
Yeah. If you like blowouts, if you like high running games, you'll love the offense. But if you like a close, 4-3, 5-4 game, there's a bunch of those as well.
No, I mean, those are good scores. Right now, we kind of talked about it. The Angels and Rangers are kind of, well, they're tied at the moment. We gotta wait till Texas finishes, and
Oh yeah, they'd be 9-6. Yeah. I forgot all about that.
Houston is 6-8. Seattle's 6-8. Should be
we'll
7-8.
Yep.
In a little bit. And then the Athletics, Sacramento Athletics, I call them, but whatever. They're 6-9 right now. That's pretty much our division. You got in the AL East, you got the Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Baltimore, and Tampa in that order. Yankees are 8-6. Blue Jays are 8-7. 7-9 are the Red Sox. 6-8 are the Orioles, and 6-8 are the Rays. Anything standing out to you so far?
For the East, probably the Blue Jays just being a game over 500. There's a lot of pressure on Boston right now. They're 2 games under. But just seeing Toronto in it is a really good thing. The Orioles, though, they're coming out of the gate pretty slow, and Tampa, I think, is where they're supposed to be, sadly.
In the Central, 9-5 are the Detroit Tigers. Guardians are 8-6. The Royals are 7-8. White Sox are 4-10. They had a little bit of a streak going on for a little bit, and then
8-game losing streak until Friday.
Well, I meant, at the start of the season, they had a couple wins under their belts, and then
just one against the Angels out of the first 3 games.
And in Minnesota, they are 4-11.
Yeah, for this one, I expect Minnesota like this. They're just not what they were in 23. It's just weird to see the White Sox in 4th, and I think it's just going to be a dogfight between Detroit, Cleveland, and Kansas City all year long. I mean, all 3 have played each other, I think, in some way so far, and they've all been really, really exciting games, and you're just hoping for that. The problem is there's less, divisional games now because everybody plays everybody. So that's going to be unfortunate. But hopefully when it really matters in September, they get back together and they play some really exciting games.
In the NL East, the Mets sitting at 9-5. 9-5 are also the Phillies. The Marlins are sitting at 7-7 and even 500. Nationals, they're at 6-8. and the Braves. They're at the bottom of the barrel, 4-10.
Yeah, I think the team that stands out in this one is the Braves. Are the Braves at 4-10? I went to see them with Callan the first Sunday of the season, Sunday Night Baseball, and they just look so out of whack offensively. They finally won a road game Friday. They were 0 for 8, I think, at one point. Let's see. Yeah, they were 1-8 on the road. They were 0 for 8 to start the year on the road, and their offense is just bad. They've had some injuries, of course, and it's just weird to see them in last place. Great for the Marlins to be at 500 in third place. I don't think I would have ever thought that. Nationals are where they should be, I guess, and then you look at the the Mets, how far they can go. They'll be in contention for a wild card, definitely, but I think it still goes through Philadelphia, the division at least. They just have a plethora of things you need to win, especially in a tough East like that. But it just seems like the Braves, and we haven't talked about it here, but remember the free agent left fielder Jurickson Profar got suspended 80 games, and he's ineligible for the postseason too if they get there. So it's just all bad, and they need more reinforcements as well. They
Including
just
you?
got yeah, they just got their catcher back, Sean Murphy too, so that was a good thing. But they're just off to a horrible start.
Speaking of starting off to a horrible start, in the NL Central, you have the Cubs, who are surprisingly, at least at the moment, they're sitting at 9-7. 8-7 are the Brewers. You got the Reds at 7-8. The Cardinals at 6-8, and 5-10 are the Pittsburgh Pirates. Anything standing out there?
Well, yeah, the Cubs, just because I picked them to win the division. I think a lot of people were stuck on the Brewers to win it, but I just feel like Milwaukee has lost so much, and the Cubs added so much, I feel like, and they have the ability to add more at the trade deadline if needed. The other three teams, they don't really matter here with the Reds. They're young with Terry Francona. I think they're expected to contend for a wild card, but I don't think they will. And the Cardinals they've had injuries, and they had Mason Wynn, their their shortstop go out, and they finally got someone back from injury. And the Pirates, they've been in the news pretty much all season long so far for the bad reasons. I don't know if you heard, but
No.
the attendance figures, people aren't showing up. They did against the Yankees, but not against the Cardinals. They had pretty good crowds against the Yankees, but then when they played the Cardinals on a Monday night, and it was like 35 degrees, they only had about 8,000, I think, show up, or 9,000. And that just looked really, really bad.
Which team is this?
The Pirates, Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And, there were talks about, their best pitcher who's on the video game cover, Paul Skeens, that, he basically said, I hope they're contending here, or in a sense, I'm going to look to play somewhere else. Free agency is only like 4 years away for him. So they need to get going on this crap. I mean, they've done some extensions with players, but they never go out and get any free agents, or no one ever wants to come to Pittsburgh.
Huh. I wonder what that sounds like for us fans here.
Yeah, the fans don't like it. They don't show up. They hate the owner, sell the teams everywhere. I think they had Paul Skeens out there at the McAfee, the big night at the Paints Arena. I forget what it's called, but in Pittsburgh where the Penguins play, they had some Steelers come out, one Pirate come out, and a bunch of Penguins, and everybody wants a winner there. They just don't want to not want to talk about, hey, when is training camp for the Steelers? When can we get excited about that?
Or the Eagles, or
Yeah. So it's just like they need a win, and it feels like Garrett Cole all over again, where they have a great pitcher, but then
yeah,
they can't pay him, so he has to get traded. I hope that don't happen with Skeens. I hope there's a difference. But also, I don't know if they do that at the new Texas ballpark here, but you could put your name or family member or your company, whatever, on a brick on the ground. So they've done this 3 times now for PNC Park where the Pirates are, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden they took them out of the ground and put them in a pile because they said they were redoing the area around the ballpark. And the people who paid all that money, like $500, are pissed because they're taking that out without anybody saying anything. The Pirates didn't say anything about it. So those
Right.
fans are pissed because that goes back generations.
yeah.
And then they have a 20-foot high wall in right field, and they have like a beer can on the wall there by the foul pole. But before that, they had a Roberto Clemente like a graphic, because he's probably the best Pirate ever. They took that off to put the beer can on, and the fans noticed it right away and called everyone out. And they put this Clemente graphic back on there and got rid of the beer can. But it just shows you the Pirates, man. The brass has done all the worst things to start off a season, and they're 5-10 to start the season on the field.
That's good. I mean, get it together, Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say about that. And then to close out the standings review, you got the NL West. Padres are surprisingly, I guess, in first place, 12-3. 11-4 are the Dodgers, who played 2 extra games, or 2 games to start out the season, and they won them both, and they had a little hot streak for a little bit, and now they kind of cooled off, I think. You got the Giants at third, 10-4. 8-7 are the Diamondbacks, sitting fourth. And then I don't think this is a big surprise, but maybe it is. Who knows? Colorado, they're at 3-11 in last place in the division. Anything that stands out?
Yeah, I'll start from the bottom. With the Rockies being 3-11, they again lost tonight to San Diego 2-0. The previous night 8-0. It just seems like a waste for the Rockies to be a team. Even like if they told me you could get rid of 2 teams right away, I would go no. If they gave me a chance to get rid of 3 teams, like you can just take them out.
Yeah.
It would be the Rays, the Marlins, and the Rockies.
Why Rays and Marlins? I get Colorado.
Well, these are all expansion teams too, from 93 and 98. Like the 2 Florida teams are from 98. I'm sorry. 93 was Florida and Colorado. And then you have the Tampa Bay Rays in 98. But I would just say, because look at both situations for Tampa and Miami. Florida people go for spring training games, but they never fill up Marlins, Park or Lone Depot Park. They never go to Miami Marlin games. Same thing for the Rays, because they played so far away from the real fans. And now they're displaced because of what happened to their roof, their dome. So, and they're not even selling out the minor league ballpark in Tampa. I have a strong feeling like, hey, why do we have teams in Florida if they're not going to show up? Why even have teams there?
I agree.
And then with Colorado, they used to draw so well. Remember, Denver's a pretty big city, and there's communities around it. Um, but they've been bad for a long time. I know they went to the playoffs. I think in 19. Um, I think they beat the Cubs too in the wild card best of three. But after that, they either got rid of like who was good or trade them away. They signed Chris Bryant, who made the last out tonight in San Diego. But he's been a failure as a free agent signing. He's often injured every year. And then all they have is just these young players, and because of the thin air, the ball goes out so much that they don't get the best pitchers to come to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So they started off well in their franchise. They actually play at the old Mile High Stadium with the Broncos. But now
was it
they
a
have
discount by the Broncos?
the what?
Was it discounted by the Broncos?
I don't know. But they also played like the minor league Denver Bears played there before too. In the 80s, or before that 70s and 80s, probably 60s as well. But it just seems like the owner just doesn't want to spend on the team. He's been scarred before, kind of like the Angels one. So I don't know if the Rockies will ever be good again. They're just a waste of time. Arizona at 8-7. That's kind of a shocker. I think people had them higher. The Dodgers at 11-5 after tonight's loss. Their bullpen has to figure it out. Maybe that's the one Achilles heel in their team. The lineup's really good. Freddie Freeman just came back from. I forgot what happened to him. I want to say he fell down or something at his house. I want to say fell downstairs or something, but it was really really weird for that injury. But he's back. The Giants in second place. That's the biggest surprise at 10-4. They're doing it with power. Wilber Flores, I think, has 6 home runs already. He's not meant to hit home runs, but he does that. And they went out the last couple of years and got free agents. Willie Adames, Matt Chapman offensively. And then they got Justin Verlander, the starter this year. And then the Padres, nobody knew what they were going to be, but they've been potent as a offense. And then their pitching has done very well despite a couple of injured starters. The only bad part is they lost a couple of infielders for, I think, the 10-day DL or the 15 DL or IL. But they still showed the power on Friday, and then they pitched well enough to get the shutout win tonight, 2-0. So the Padres at 12-3 is just a big surprise because I didn't know what they were going to be. So there's some surprises, and then there's just some people left in the middle right now, and you just can't really tell what they really are right now. Some teams, so it's so damn early in the in the season as well.
It is, and I know whether you're in sports or whatever, in order to make money, you got to spend money. In this case, in order to win a championship, you definitely have to spend money, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but it has to be done. I feel like.
Yeah, in some places, I know the A's, back in the day, they had their own method and it drove fans crazy, but it was just, trying to save money, but also just going real cheap and getting real lucky because, that whole movie too, they never once talked about having 3 aces in their starting rotation. They never talked about that. It was only the way they saved money losing 2 MVPs on offense. So that movie, it's for how great it is, it doesn't tell the whole story.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It is early, but those are our team reports. That's the standings update. Any news you want to share, James?
Yeah, there's a lot that has happened. Feel free after I talk about it to chime
Yeah.
in, Chris. There was an unfortunate incident that happened in the Dominican Republic. To make a long, story short, longtime Major League reliever Octavio Dotel and another former MLB player, Tony Blanco, died in a roof collapse at a nightclub in the Dominican Republic capital. At least 218 people have died from this, and the hundreds are injured. It was at the Jet Set nightclub there in the capital of Dominican, like I mentioned. Rescue crews are still searching for people who may be potential survivors in the debris. Dotel was 51 years old, a native of Santo Domingo in the Dominican. He pitched for 13 teams over 15 seasons. I think from 1996 to 2013.
Wow.
He signed 98, I want to say. Anyway, he signed with the Mets and was traded to the Astros. That's where you really seen him. In 2000, he stayed for 5 years there. He went on to pitch for the White Sox, the Pirates, the Cardinals. He in his career with the Tigers, he did win a World Series with the Cardinals in 2012. And it was just unfortunate. And the singer who everybody was there at the nightclub for, a merengue singer, Ruby Perez, also died in the collapse. To me, I think it was like just one of those wooden probably buildings that aren't up to American code. Because I see it happen a lot in Mexico. I hear about this a lot, or it sets on fire a lot. So it's just unfortunate the way it happened. Blanco was 44 years old. He played 1 year with the Washington Nationals in 05. He played internationally in Japan until 2020 or until 2016. And then, if you remember who Nelson Cruz is, the former Ranger,
I scored for that one too.
his sister died in the collapse. Nelsie Cruz. And then Pedro Martinez also has family members that have yet to be found in the rubble. So I'm wondering if he'll show up for the MLB Tuesday thing on TBS, or he'll fly back to the DR. It was just a really, really sad story there. Rest in peace to all. There were player extensions that happened all last week that were just memorized, just crazy. Vlad Jr. Remember, I talked about him all the time, saying, "Oh, he'll go to the Yankees via trade, or he's going to get traded. The Jays don't want to deal with him anymore." Ends up he pulls like a Myles Garrett and says, "No, I want to be here, but pay me."
I thought that was Tyreek Hill.
Well, that's yet to be known, because I want to see in the draft, before the draft or whatever, those rumors pop up.
In a way of, get me out of here. I want out. And he's like, man, I was just frustrated. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, but the thing with Vlad Jr. during this time, he never once complained. He just kept wanting more money every week. The price just kept going up and up and up. But he says he's very happy. Duh. Yeah, I would be happy if he gave me that much. It starts next season up until 2039. I can't even think till 2030.
I can't think all the way up to then. I can think of now and next year.
Yeah. But the reason why it was so easy to sign this deal for a junior was it included a record $325 million signing bonus. Yeah, that would help.
No.
And that money is protected from a possible work stoppage, next season or 2027. Remember what I always talk about, where the owners could lock out the players starting next season. And then also this, too, was amazing about this contract. They kind of did a Shohei thing where they avoided taxes, at least for the bonus. Huh?
I wish we could do that.
I know.
Yeah, just front load my refund.
You know how they play in Canada, but the contract was signed and done in Florida, where there's no sales tax, no state tax. I mean, yeah. So it's not taxed in Canada. So the deal is so smart. And you have to wonder, because Kyle Tucker's a free agent next year, you have to wonder if he signs a deal like that too. I found out it's 14% the tax in Canada. Just imagine that. I mean, California is like $1 something tax here, I think. But just think about that. Just like how much Canada is. But that's on the signing bonus, not the contract. But still, it's just amazing to think out. The contract, too, there's no deferred money. There's no opt-outs. There is a full no-trade clause, meaning he can say he wants a trade, but they can't trade him unless he's okay with it.
Right.
There will be a press conference on Monday at the Rogers Center or the Sky Dome. But yeah, when that happened, I think it was last Saturday too. I was really shocked because I thought, like Myles Garrett's situation, that okay, he doesn't want to be there anymore, but they pay him and he stays, and you hope that they can try to win with him. I think he had an RBI double today to start the game off for the Jays. Yeah, he did. I'm seeing the highlights actually right now of him. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. San Diego had a contract extension happen, I think, during the week. Jackson Merrill, the 21-year-old center fielder, he gets a 9-year, $135 million extension. It runs through 2034 with a club option of 35. The Players Association didn't want to sign it because it's such a team-friendly deal. He's only getting $15 million a year, and it made all the lawyers of the Players Association kind of cringe because the Padres have done this before with Tatis Jr. They already locked him up for so many years, but for cheaper, as if he would not go into free agency, he would have got more money. But they've been able to make these contracts happen. For Boston, I mentioned Christian Campbell. He got an 8-year, $60 million deal or extension that starts this year until 2032. There's club options in 33 and 34. They lock up their first, young player in a while. I think they have a couple more coming up. Arizona, Ketel Marte got a 7-year, $160 million extension. That really helps them. He's their second baseman. He's been there a while, the former Mariner. By the way, the first week of the season, the umps did a bad job in the strike zone. In last Wednesday's Angel Cardinal game, the home plate umpire missed 22 calls. And over the first week of the season, there were 1,100 missed calls, and umpires blew 44 strikeouts that should have been. More about that ABS system hoping to come where the batters could tap their heads or the pitchers could tap their hats. There was actually, I think, a Cardinal, one of those games, the home plate umpire was warning the Cardinals that if you tap your helmet after a strike call that they call or the umpire called, that they were going to throw them out if they did that. Because remember, that was only spring training, not they didn't bring it into the season. But some umpires are feeling a little zesty about that. There was one yesterday who called a perfect game. Mark Rebinger. I forgot the game he did, but he had a perfect game last night. So it's just weird how it goes. There were 5 exciting walk-offs on Sunday. Maybe we'll get 4 tomorrow, hopefully. The injuries, like you mentioned, with Texas, Jack Leiter has a blister and he missed a start. And then you mentioned Wyatt Langford, the outfielder, had left calf tightness. I think he's day-to-day. I don't know if he's played for your Rangers.
Crawford, I think he's played a little.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
In Seattle, there were two big injuries. Ryan Bliss, a young infielder, will miss 4 to 5 months with a biceps surgery or needing biceps surgery. He did it on a swing, and he's going to miss more than the 10-day IL at first that came up. There's a tear in there. He'll probably miss the rest of the season. And then Victor Robles, the outfielder, sustained a shoulder injury down the right field line in San Francisco. He made a great catch, but then his shoulder, which he caught the ball, just twisted the wrong way. He'll miss 3 months, avoiding surgery for now. But depending how it heals, the Mariners, if you remember or seen maybe one of my shows on Heedy, I mentioned that a former Mariner, Justin Turner, a Cub now, mentioned that the Mariners didn't do much in their off season. They re-signed someone and then signed a bench player, pretty much. But they didn't go out and sign any like big bats, and that's what everybody wants from them. But you have to wonder with these two injuries now that if they're in contention that they go make these deals. All right, Blake Snell from the Dodgers has no structural damage in his left shoulder. Had an MRI on Tuesday, but he was placed on the 15-day IL on April 6th due to inflammation in the shoulder. Snell has started the season off bad as usual. Usually does better later on. He threw a no-hitter, I think, in I want to say August or September last year in Cincinnati with the Giants. The stats are crazy though because he has 8 walks and 9 innings of work, despite an ERA of only 2 in the first 2 starts. So it's just weird how that goes. I mentioned about the Braves, Chris, how banged up they are. One of their starters who they really need, Ronaldo Lopez, a former Angel, will miss 12 weeks after having arthroscopic surgery on his right shoulder. The manager described it as a cleanup procedure. He'll be gone to at least July. And the Braves did make a trade for Rafael Montero from the Astros. And he pitched a scoreless 10th inning Thursday night, a rainy night in Georgia against Philadelphia. And the Braves did win, I think, in 11 innings with an Asuna walk-off 2-run home run. One of the rare wins the Braves have got this year so far. The Padres, though, unfortunately, I talked about Jackson Merrill. Again, he was placed on the 10-day IL with a right hamstring strain. And he and many others on the Padres have started out very well with the bats. Them and the Angels have hit a lot of home runs this year. It's been pretty fun to see out here. So that's pretty much been it for news. There is other news we'll probably get to next week. But we went through any of the news stories, Chris, you want to talk about?
You didn't talk about the torpedo bat?
Oh, yeah, because that was last week. So if you know, Chris, the reasoning behind it, right? It was for these Yankee players not to get jammed so much. So what they did is make the bat fatter in the sweet spot and have a skinnier, up to the middle from the handle. And it's been working. There's been 3 or 4 Yankees that have used it and it's done so well. Now you would think Aaron Judge would use one, but he doesn't. He doesn't. It was other guys on the team, and they've hit so well this year with it. And then other teams started to order their bats. And what's funny, it came from a MIT grad. He used to work with the Yankees, and now he's with the Marlins. And they did some, science, whatever the case was, and now it's become a thing for the offensive players. The only thing is now, remember how pitchers back in the not back in the day, like earlier this decade, were using that spider tack, grip on the ball. Yeah. And now they check the pitcher for everything: the hat, the glove, the hands, the belt buckle, all that crap. it feels like now because you have the batters, using, remember those as kids, we had the plastic bat that had the big,
Yeah.
top of it, and you would hit a wiffle ball so damn far with it, it'd be so loud.
Yep.
That's what it feels like, the batters get to use now. But with the pitchers, I'm thinking to myself, okay, why do they get that? And we just we can't use anything, but we have to lick our fingers off of the mound. We could use a rosin bag, but we can't use what we used before and have better grip on the ball. But they get to use a bigger ass bat. Like, it just seems so unfair. What do you think, Chris, when you heard about the torpedo bats?
It's a little bit unfair, but I saw a couple Rangers use it. Can't remember who used it, but some players on our team used it, and I don't know how I feel about it. It is different. It kind of makes you look like you're playing with a toy bat.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the jury's out right now. So, what's your thought?
You feel that it's unfair? I don't know. Anytime you're trying to get an advantage, it would be weird. But I know the stats will come out and say, "Oh yeah, the batters have used it so well. It's helped them so much." And I have to believe it's just another thing, another issue the league will have to have when it comes time to talk about, money, what's going on with the new CBA and all that crap, like we always talk about. Like, that's just another problem Major League Baseball is going to have. It's just so bad, Chris. It's going to be so bad. Enjoy baseball while it's here now, because I'm gonna try to get to as many games as I possibly can. I've been to one Padre game and one Angel game. I'm hoping to do more this season because I know eventually there's going to be a stoppage.
You going to a Dodger game?
No. Maybe when they come to San Diego, but I know the tickets are going to be wild.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. How far are you away from the Arlington?
I would say we're gonna go an hour and a half, depending on traffic.
That's what I always wondered. But anything
Just
else?
don't go.
There?
Just
Go
don't
ahead.
go to a game when the Cowboys are playing.
Have they ever played on the same day there? I would say no, huh?
A couple times, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I had some other news that came out. Of course, I think I talked about before, but these crazy college scores have been just out of nowhere. The scores, right? They've
Right.
been like 40-0 or like 36-3. We had one game though have teams that had long losing streaks. There was like 46 and then 99. And the team that had 99 losses in a row lost.
Ooh.
So they've lost 100 games. It was like these community colleges, I think, that played. But that was crazy to me when I saw that. There were a few more stories. I always find them on Instagram. Let's see what else. Oh, God. So the golf cart, which I thought would be electric in Sacramento for the A's, they picked up an injured Met and it ran out of gas. The player, the whole thing. And they had to push it out of the ballpark. And it took like 4 or 5 people to push the golf cart that ran out of gas off of the field. And there was a delay on this. It's just another damn thing Oakland has to deal with. Or not Oakland, but the A's. I'm gonna say Oakland forever. Oh yeah, there's a source that MLB umpire Bruce Druckman, he's one of the older umpires, I think, was spotted taking swigs from a bottle of Hennessy outside a outside of a casino in Detroit at 10 a.m. 4 days ago, prior to the Tigers Yankee game. So supposedly a umpire got lit before a game. I wonder what his scorecard was. Let's see. Jose Quintana, starting pitcher, has been around. He pitched for both Chicago teams. I know that. He picked up a win over the Diamondbacks, and he's a Brewer. And he became the 24th pitcher in MLB history to defeat all 30 teams. There are 3 active pitchers to do this, and they're Matt Scherzer, Charlie Morton, and Garrett Cole that have defeated all 30 teams as a starter. So I think that's a cool story. What else? The most annoying player out of the MLB is Jose Altuve. Now that might have changed, but at least to this graphic. And what do you think is the most annoying fan base in majors right now?
Dodgers.
It says Dodgers first, Yankees second, Astros third, Dodgers fourth. But I think this is from a couple of years ago. So I think now the Dodgers will probably be number 1, and the Yankees are probably number 2. There will be a professional baseball league coming out for women in 2026, a 6-team league. So we'll see how that goes. Last thing, I guess, Brad Lord was walking at a Home Depot last fall, was working at a Home Depot. And then he made the team on the Nationals. And I think Tuesday he struck out Shohei Ohtani on a fastball. I think that's just so cool that he went from working at Home Depot to striking out Shohei Ohtani months later. It's just, those stories are kind of cool. I think of that Warner. Return. Yeah, Kurt Warner working at a Piggly Wiggly. Mm-hmm. Michael Lewis driving Coke trucks and becoming a kick returner, punt returner for the Saints in the 2000s. I just think those stories are so cool to see.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else after that. Oh yeah, one more thing. The Pirates, like we talked about earlier, announced on Monday, I think it was, they were sitting in like 35-degree temperatures. But for those who braved the cold, they got 2 free tickets to a future home game, whoever was there.
Wow.
I think that they finally did something right in Pittsburgh on that. But they have a lot to clean up, though.
I'd go for the cold game and get...
But you get 2 free tickets for maybe whenever you want.
But my luck, I'm sure you have to show your ticket stub.
Yeah, they did it if you had an MLB ballpark app account. An MLB account. You have to have 2 for tickets. You have to have one, like MLB.com, the app, and then you have to have the ballpark app for your tickets. It's not just one-on-one, everything on one. It's pretty annoying the way it is.
It was, I don't know. Maybe it was. I can't remember.
You have to have all these apps. Like if you buy a ticket from somewhere else, it has to go to your ballpark app. It's just confusing.
Well, I think one time because I have an iPhone, I put it in that wallet. And
that is good, yeah. I didn't think about that. They're in there as well. But the only way you access your ticket is through the ballpark app. And then you can put it in your Google Wallet or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got. But it's been an eventful, first, 3-4 weeks in the MLB. And there's so much more to go. I'm just happy the Angels are winning somehow. It probably won't last, but I can't wait to go next Saturday. There will be fireworks. There'll be a tailgate for Halos in the infield. And they're also giving away a Big A figurine, but they're going to have a Millennial Falcon on the top of it.
Ah, cool.
I don't care about Star Wars, so I'm probably just rip it off, probably.
Give it to Callan. I don't know.
Yeah, I have another friend who wants one as well, so I got to figure that out too.
One of our for the Rangers promotional items is we had two that's unique. One was a trading card. I can't remember what it was. Trading card bobblehead. I can't remember. But we had the Stiegel, for our throwback or City Connect. I mean, the
Okay.
little, and there was a winged bobblehead.
Oh wow!
So instead of the bobblehead, it was the wing that moved.
I saw somebody wearing one of those hats too. The City Connect one the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I know what that is. It's something to get used to.
It's weird to me.
Definitely.
Maybe because I didn't grow up back in that time and all that, but it's just weird to me.
Yeah, it's like 19. What was it? 40s or 50s? They were paying
Probably
tribute
40s.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one was around.
Hmm.
All right,
But
let's get out of here.
yeah, any final thoughts?
No, be sure to watch. Oh, well, I won't be around next week because I'll be at the Angel game. But maybe we can record on Thursday or Friday an episode or do it, earlier in the week.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a C2C at night on Monday with me and Callan. What other shows are coming up on Coast to Coast?
Yeah. So we got a lot of stuff going on between the ropes tomorrow. WrestleMania is next Saturday, Sunday. They're doing a 2-day event. We'll be doing that, and then the following week we have the draft. Watch along or recover.
Oh, okay. I can make that. I just thought about that. That's on the 24th, right?
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
Oh no! It depends if Paul Skeens is pitching because they come to play the Angels. But if not, I will be on that because the work schedule has changed. So usually I was working Thursday nights, but now I work, in the morning. So I
Now
get
it just
get off
depends
in
on
plenty of
pitching.
time.
Okay. Just kidding.
Huh?
I'm kidding. I said now it just depends on pitching. Okay.
Yeah, because I would see Paul Skeens, but that's in a week from now too, or no, 2 weeks from now.
Wait, I thought the Rangers would be playing the 8th.
No, that's next week or this week coming up is the
Oh, that's
Rangers
right. Okay.
hosting the Angels.
Yeah.
So it just depends. If Skeens is pitching, I want to watch him. If not, I'm going to be in that draft show because I know you've done your work.
Yeah.
Has any of your mock draft changed after the pro days?
No.
Where should Shedeur Sanders go?
Probably not. Well, I think he'll be the first quarterback. Oh,
Whoa.
Second quarterback.
Oh, okay. I was going.
Second and down.
That would be.
Because I think Cam Ward is going to be number 1.
Number 1, 2, Tennessee. Yeah, they need that. Then after that, it's like.
I think the Giants have number 2.
No, Browns.
Browns,
and I think it's Patriots, Giants. Raiders are 6. I forget who's 5. But we're gonna get that all. Oh, Jaguars have number 5. So they don't need a quarterback. So number 6 is interesting for the Raiders too because you would have you either pick what's his name from Boise State, JT, the running back, or you go with the popular pick and pick Shedeur Sanders after you gave Geno Smith a 2-year extension.
The Saints might need a quarterback.
Yeah, this might be Carr's last year there. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but Carr I think has an injury now, and it could be season.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that next week, coming week. So be on the lookout for that. A lot of great stuff coming to Coast to Coast. Tune in. We'll be back next time for On Deck, whether it be pre-recorded or live. We'll be here, and we will talk to you guys next week. Enjoy the baseball games.